I just wanted to explain about something that we do all the time. It doesn't matter how many thousands of lights we put in, it's still a good idea. Luckily, we got on this property, we got here the night before, and the first thing we did is we took our lights and the King Innovation Insta-Light that we throw in all our kits. You can get it with our Try Before You Buy a kit, which is basically this battery pack that you can just plug your lights into. And that first night, before we even though we had a design, sometimes when you step on site and you determine how many lights you actually have, you're going to have to manipulate, maneuver some stuff. And that's why that King Innovation Insta-Light is a great tool for that, because then you can just go plug in these lights. Hey guys, it's Cal from the Lighting Doctor here. I hope you guys enjoy this video with some more great landscape lighting tips. To learn more about landscape lighting, go and check out our website at lightingdoctor.ca, or if you want to see what a real quality landscape light should look like, go and check out our Try It Before You Buy It offer, where you can get a premium quality fixture at a discounted rate with your very own battery pack, so you can go and test out how that light's going to look and feel what a real premium quality light should look like. So go and check us out at lightingdoctor.ca, or go watch more videos on YouTube just by searching for the Lighting Doctor. Guys, I don't know if you can hear me over the dump trucks and fire trucks and everything, but I wanted to explain another thing why it's good to go and test those lights and check things the night before. We decided to do a couple featured trees on the property. So we got two beautiful palms right in the front. We chose to put two lights on each of them so that we could have it look good for the homeowners from the house side, as well as have it lit up from the street. And a lot of times that's what you want to do. If you have a really key feature that you really want to stand out, use more than one light. It doesn't hurt to do that. But the one thing we did find is last night, even after that first night, we kind of tested out. We had a pretty good idea of where we were going to throw that light, but it wasn't until we got everything hooked up and last night we found that the light was only about a foot too close to the tree, and what it was doing is it was putting most of the light on the base of the trunk, and it wasn't putting enough to the top. And just moving it back, I would say 6 to 8 inches made all the difference, because now we had a more subtle light on the trunk, and we were casting a lot more light up into the giant palm tree leaves. So it doesn't matter how many lights you put in or how good you think you are at this. If you're not testing it at night, checking things out, use that battery pack to go and play around, you're going to miss some things and you're not going to get the full effect. So just by doing some of those things, even if it's your first time doing it, you can really install lights just like a professional landscaper or contractor would do. But in a lot of cases even better, because most of those guys don't even come back and check their lights at night. They just put them in, get out, and it's all done. And I think it's just ego if you don't test those lights first, because people are paying a lot of money for these lights, and especially if you're getting a good quality one that you don't want to have to redo, which so many of you guys have told me you just want to do this once in your lifetime. Well, that's how you go do it, and test them out so you can make sure you're getting the right effect. Go and check them out at night. Hey guys, so I just want to show you, we're going to use our accent light a whole bunch in this property. In a lot of common areas we're going to use that is on some nice trees. We got a really nice tree here that we're going to try and focus on. But the one thing I see people do too often, or more times than not, is instead of trying to get that light nice and close to the tree and having it shine up, so you're taking advantage of all the barking structure and then all the branching up top, is they'll bring it far back and try and aim it at the tree. And what happens there is they tend to miss a lot of the lower portions of the trees. And then also when it, depending on the area you live in, if you start losing a lot of foliage in the wintertime, then having that light shine at all the foliage is kind of a waste of time, and you lose a lot of the effect of that light. That's why I like having it closer to the tree. Here we're maybe 12, 14, 18 inches away from the base. We're going to have it shooting almost straight up, because I want to highlight all this trunking and branching structure as possible, as well as now we're getting that light up into the foliage and into the canopy. So again, with our standard RS uplight from FX Luminaire, there's lots of other good ones out there. I like this guy because it's a real workhorse, and that's what we're going to use on this project. Hey guys, it's Cal from the Lighting Doctor here. We're going to show you how to light up your landscape with the King Innovation Insta-Light. So this is a great tool that we use to go and demo different types of lights to find out what light is going to look best where. So all it is, it's a very simple battery operated pack that just takes 8 AA batteries, and then what you can do with it is you can actually go and plug in your light, whatever light it is, whether it be a path light, a wash light, wall light, or an accent light. you can go and just plug that into your Instalight, and you can go walk around your property and test out all the different areas that you're thinking of lighting and seeing which lights look best in which location and where you want to position those lights to get the best effect that you're looking for. It's a super easy tool that comes in all our do-it-yourself kits, as well as our try it before you buy it offers, where you can go and now test out these lights, feel the quality, see how they're going to look before you go and make any big decisions on your landscape lighting project. We'll take a quick look at the cottage here. You know, nighttime pictures never quite do it justice. I think the only thing we're missing that I would add here is on the front porch, we're going to put a little downlight there to highlight it, but I think the light in the two sides of the windows was nice, create some symmetry. We're just missing a little bit of a dark spot in the middle there, and then as we kind of go around the side, we only use 6 lights on this guy, which is nice, but we just kind of highlight it again around the side here, just to give a little bit, and as it gets darker, you'll really be able to see the subtleties in the light. A little bit higher up is just tough to see right now, and then again by the entrance, we did the same thing over on this side, and I think everything turned out really nice. Very subtle lighting, but just enough to make it pop so that you can kind of see it from a distance. And then we'll show you the driveway here again as we get a little bit better light as it gets a little bit darker here. I just wanted to explain about something that we do all the time. It doesn't matter how many thousands of lights we put in, it's still a good idea. Luckily we got on this property, we got here the night before, and the first thing we did is we took our lights and the King Innovation Instalight that we throw in all our kits. You can get it with our Try Before You Buy It kit, which is basically this battery pack that you can just plug your lights into. And that first night before we even though we had a design, sometimes when you step on site and you determine how many lights you actually have, you're going to have to maneuver some stuff, and that's why that King Innovation Instalight is a great tool for that, because then you can just go plug in these lights, and we literally walked around the property for an hour and a half and put different lights in different areas so that we could find out exactly where we wanted to put those before we started digging holes and doing all that kind of stuff. And because of that tool, we actually found some ways to get really creative and reduce some of the amounts of lights that we were using on the property, because we were just able to place and test those lights before we did any work. So it's a great tool, comes in all our kits. You get it with your Try Before You Buy It light, so it's something that you definitely want to take advantage before you even start your project. When you order your kit, grab one light and go and play around. And even with that said, we went that day and we placed all our lights. We got everything wired, which I always try and do the first day, is get everything wired, but we don't bury anything, because I want to see how those look at night first, because we might have to go make some adjustments, and that's exactly what I'm doing. Right here is we had some lights that really look good, but we have such a cool, unique kind of palm tree behind us that we decided to put another light. And the way we did that again is that we had our lights set, we knew where we wanted to put them, we placed them, and we had to move them a couple feet to get the desired effect. But then we took our battery pack and took another light and put it in some different areas around that same tree, and now we've got 2 lights that are going to be really highlighting this nice tree behind me. So again, test everything out the night before so you can kind of get a real good idea of what lights you want where, and then that first night just wire everything back to the transformer. Don't worry about burying anything that first day, because you're probably going to want to make changes. And that night, go around, see how things look, move lights a foot or 2 here or there. You'd be surprised how a foot here and there can sometimes make all the world of difference. Play with viewing angles, which side of the tree, which side of the feature that you're lighting looks best. So and that's something you can easily do again with that Instalight, the battery pack, because then you can just have a light in your hand and walk around everywhere. It's easier to do that than when everything's wired, but still take that extra step after you get everything wired. Go make sure everything looks the way you want. The whole purpose of this is you buy a premium quality light. You don't want to have to do this again, or you don't want to have to do this over and over year after year. So go and make sure you get it right the first time. Doesn't mean you can't add on, doesn't mean you can't make it better, but you can get a real good design just by going and testing it. And it might be a cliche, but seeing is believing. Sometimes you have to see it before you can really understand what that effect's going to look like. So test it with the King Innovation Instalight. It comes in all our Try Before You Buy It. offers, as well as all our kits come with it, because we want you guys to get the best design possible. Real quick, it's really loud here. We're right by the street, but this will bring home my point. We had a palm tree right behind me here, and initially when we'd kind of done the first testing, played with our Instalight, our thought was we're gonna make these palm trees close to the street look really good from the street side, so that you know, people driving by, walking by, really get the full effect. But what happened last night, we turned everything on, we tested it, and we had some other trees on the property, beautiful palm trees, that we had lit up from a different viewing angle, so from the homeowner's viewing angle. So the point of this topic is keep in mind your viewing angle. Where do you want that feature that you're lighting to look best? And that's where you want to place that light, because what we found is that the homeowner liked the way all the other trees on the property looked so much that they didn't care so much that the people on the street got the great view, and they're still going to, because we're pushing light up into that canopy, so they're gonna see that. But they wanted to see the cool, unique features of the trunk of the palm trees and all that. So we ended up just moving the light right around the tree, 180 degrees on the other side, and now the street guys are still getting the view of the top, the lit up palm leaves, but now the homeowner gets to view the trunk and the other features more. So my point is, just keep in mind your viewing angle and try and walk the property or sit in the areas that you think you're gonna wanna see these things the most. There's a backyard area that we did the same thing, that originally we had like 12 lights planned for this one area, and just by keeping in mind the viewing angles and which way we were going to see things, we reduced that down to like 5 lights, because we realized we didn't need to light everything, because we're not going to see all those different features and stuff. And just by lighting 5 of those in key spots and trying to fill some dark spots, having some consistency with spacing of lighting, we're able to go from 12 to 5 lights, just by keeping in mind that viewing angle a little bit more. So that's one thing that you always want to do, and that's why that battery pack is such a good thing, because you can go set that up on a tree or a statue or whatever it is. You can go sit back on the area that you think you're going to be looking at it from. You can go and walk the property with that light lit up and see if that's actually where you want that light, if that's a viewing angle you're looking for. So always keep in mind viewing angles, not just from the outside, but even from the inside. Where are you going to be viewing that the most? Where we are up in Calgary, Canada, it's cold in the wintertime. I'm pretty much only seeing those lights from my kitchen table. I'm not going outside to look at them. So I want to keep those viewing angles in mind too. So just a quick tip about viewing angles, always keep that in mind when you're designing a landscape lighting system. The last fixture on the line, a question I get emailed and asked all the time is, hey, I've wired all my lights, everything looks really good, and then all of a sudden I wired my last fixture and the whole system, it just shorted out and nothing's working anymore. And I'll explain why that is. And it's typically this one error, because it's different than wiring your other lights. When you're wiring your other lights, it's pretty easy. You've got your waterproof connectors that we use that have 3 holes in them. So you have a wire coming into that fixture, and then you have a wire going out, and then you have your wire to your fixture. So basically you got 6 wires and you got 6 holes, so it's easy. But on your last light, well, you don't have that. You've only got your wires coming in and your fixture wires. So now you got 4 wires and 6 holes. So how do you make it fit? How do you make it work? And what most people do is they use only one connector and they jam all their wires in there. And what happens is, same thing, if I was to turn the system on right now and my 12-2 wire, I was to touch these together, it's going to short out the whole system, because this needs to be a continuous flow. So on that last light, what we're going to do, I've got my 12-2 wires split already. I've got my wires from my fixture, and all I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my waterproof connector, and in our small terminal hole, I'm going to place one of those fixture wires, and I'm going to place one of my 12-2 wires. And then from there, I'm going to snap that tight. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other 12-2 strand that's coming in. I'm going to throw that in my waterproof connector. I'm going to take my other fixture wire, and that's going to go in our small hole. I'm going to button that up,
and that's our last light on our fixture. So if you're having issues and that's a problem where you've wired all your lights, you've tested them and they're working, and then you get that last one and it shorts it out, that's probably why. So geez. Quick tip, test your lights as you're going. You know, say you've got a system, and we've done it before, we got 60 lights, and we don't think to test anything until the end, and now we got to go try and troubleshoot where the issue is with 60 lights. Luckily it's not that tough to find, but it's still a lot more time consuming than if you go and wire, say, 5 to 10 lights, plug them back into your transformer, turn it on, make sure everything's working, and then you can keep going in sequence throughout the project. And that way, if you do have an error, it's easier to troubleshoot it within 5 to 10 lights than it is for 20, 30, or 60 lights. And especially if it's your first time doing it, just test as much as possible, because it's way easier to fix the problem and find the problem when everything's still exposed than when you have your whole system buried in the ground. So hope that helps. How to wire your last light. If you need more info on that, search Lighting Doctor wiring diagram. There's a couple videos that give you a diagram of exactly how to go and wire your low voltage landscape lights. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys got some great do-it-yourself landscape lighting tips. Now, please be sure to go to our website at lightingdoctor.ca and check out our how-to page. It's full of great resources, from our podcast to our video to our most frequently asked questions. And also check out our Try It Before You Buy It light, where you can actually go now and get one of our premium quality uplights and a King Innovation Insta-Light, which is basically a battery pack now that allows you to go and run those lights and test them out on your property. Try it for 14 days. If you don't love it, send it back to us and we'll give you a full refund. And if not, you keep the light at a discounted rate and go and buy what you need for your project. So thanks again for watching. Please be sure to leave us a comment. We'd love your feedback. Have a great day.